Oh. Right, hello everybody. Sorry this is a little bit different to usual, but it's taken ages for me to get actually online because for some reason my laptop is not letting me go live, which is very, very annoying. So I hope that there's some people out there watching perhaps. Drop a like if you are there and subscribe with it. By saying that, the people who are already watching surely will be already subscribed. Boys and girls, let me know if you've got any questions or anything today. It's international break. That's why I was thinking about not doing one of these, because there's not a lot to talk about. Hi, Stephen Blakeway. But yeah, the game on Saturday, I suppose we could talk about, and other bits and bobs, I suppose. Hello, John Pinson. Nice for you to join us here. But yeah, also I realised that it was the 8th edition of this, so I didn't want to keep loyal members like Shiv, who's watched everyone. Sensei. Freedom. Nice for you to be here. Yeah, just a short one today, I think. But yeah, did anybody go to the game on Saturday? I was really impressed. Really, I think we should have won a lot more comfortably than we did. I was very glad. I think we deserved the win in the end. But disappointing, really, to not win that game 3 or 4-0. The way that we controlled the game, played so well for long periods, I think it was really. I don't want to be too negative, but we could have done better, really. Yeah, I'm just going to share the stream on Twitter. If you wouldn't mind going to retweet that, that'd be great. Yeah, is anybody going to be watching the England game? I don't even know when the England game is. Friday, is it? I know Wales are playing tomorrow against the Republic of Ireland. Sorry, everybody. Let me just pop this up. Has anybody been seeing the little bit of banter that I've been having with Nathan Judah today? Cheers, John. Good boy. Right, the Burnley game is on the 16th of September. I've got a friend coming down, a Burnley fan, to watch it. What I have noticed as well, being in the Premier League, is that I've known people, or I've had friends who've supported the teams that we're playing against in almost every game so far, which is like last season. I don't know any Burton fans. I don't know any Barnsley fans. I don't know any. Who else don't know? There's a lot of teams that I don't know. Forest. I haven't got any Forest fan friends. But it's more frequent in the Premier League that I've got friends who support the opposition. But yeah, I think the Burnley game is quite an important game, a big fixture, because it's probably one that we expected to win, similar to the West Ham game. Right, Dan Wallace, hello. Don't worry, I forgot as well. I was doing a run. Let me show you the problem I've got at the moment. This is my setup, my usual setup. That's the microphone. Hello, Dr. Multiblock. Hope you're doing okay. That's the camera. It's all plugged in there, but it is not working on YouTube on my computer. So I've had to resort to using my phone, unfortunately. So hopefully it'll be back to normal next week. But yeah, there's it's very annoying, really. Who's on international duty in our squad? There are Patricio and Neves have gone. Yeah, beautiful curtains. They are. I've had them since I was about 10 years old, or even younger, perhaps. But yeah, having moved back in here, I won't be having them in a couple of weeks' time, hopefully. Hello, Zane. Hope you're doing okay. Rumours of Newton. What was I talking about then? Before the curtains, somebody distracted me. Talking about international duties. So Patricio and Neves are off with Portugal. Vinagres with the under-20s. Jota's with the under-21s. Then you've got Saiss, I imagine will be with Morocco. Gibbs White with the under-19s. Dan Wallace, you seem to know the business, mate. Just looking through the team. Bolly's not, Cody's not, Bennett's not. Although those two, I think, at some point in the season will have a call up to the England squad, whether or not they'll play. I think if you consider, I think I was listening to the Fancast this morning, and Ryan Bennett in that right centre back position. They were talking about Kyle Walker played in that position, of course, for England at the World Cup. Did fine, but has been making a couple of mistakes for City over the last couple of weeks. So perhaps Bennett, if he continues to play the way he is in that position, my boring life doesn't think that Bennett will get a call up for England. I think it's unlikely, but I think there's a chance that that Bennett or Cody or both of them could get in a squad. I don't think they'll play a part because of these friendlies being slightly more competitive. So I don't know. But yeah, João Coutinho is not on international duty. I know that because he is. I think Portugal are trying to pick quite a young and more inexperienced squad for the next couple of years. So they're not picking Moutinho for this game. Perhaps Neves will play in place of him. And I don't think João retired. I could be wrong there, but I don't think he retired after the World Cup. I think he's still got a chance to play more. I think he's already got 113 caps, something like that. So he's quite a record. Neves lives 4 doors down from me. Such a nice family. Dan Scott, if it's true, the story that I heard, apparently when he went to buy that house back in the summer, just after we won the league, there was a car from the previous owners on the drive, and he asked if he could have that car, and he went and paid. I think he bought his agent or whoever it was. I don't know if it is still George Mendes, but brought back the next day a bag of cash and handed it over for the Land Rover or Range Rover, whatever it was, fancy car. That's how it is true, Zidane. I love that. Will Dendoncker ever play in the Premier League? Yeah, he will. He will. But I think the reason why he's not at the moment is because Bennett obviously is performing to very, very high levels. I think everybody's quite happy with the way that he's performing. I also think that he's not quite fully fit at the moment. Range Rover Sport SVR, Ruben Neves. Nice. Yeah, Bennett's been solid. Cody's the other position that he could come in for, or I think one of the centre midfielders at the moment. And those two are fit at the moment. The back three are fit and getting better and performing better. So I don't think they will change any of those three. So yeah, it's difficult to see where Donker comes in. I think he's just got to be patient with his opportunities in the League Cup, and I suppose from his point of view, if there is any injuries or suspensions, he will have to come in and take those chances. Quite a few comments just trickling in there. Let me go back a little bit. Sorry, I have to put my phone on silent. I forgot that I'm on my phone. Oops, there we go. Right, so hard to see where he'd fit in. Yeah, correct. Bennett's been very solid. Bennett's better than Cody, but neither are good enough. What do you mean by not good enough? Good enough for England or good enough for Wolves going forward? From November to January, lots of games. I think he'll get a start then. Adama should start. So we're talking about Adama as well. So for me, I wouldn't start Traore purely because of the massive impact he has from the bench. I've never seen a player have such a huge impact and change every game. The Leicester game, he changed but didn't quite have the impact in getting the goals. So that was frustrating, but still pleasing. The game against Man City, he gave us, when we should have been hanging on, he made me feel like we've got another chance to win the game. And then he, not single-handedly, but certainly had a massive hand in us winning the game on Saturday. Still wouldn't start him, but it wouldn't surprise me if eventually, perhaps, as somebody's mentioned there about the number of games in November, December, and the cup games and stuff that come around, he'll definitely have more of a game. But yeah, well, somebody just said no player wants to be on the bench no matter how good he is, which is absolutely true. And it was going to be very difficult for Nuno to manage it. But I think if Jota struggles in the next couple of weeks, there's definitely going to be changes. Definitely. Somebody just mentioned there about Rui Patricio being the best goalkeeper in the world. I think he's certainly up there. He's certainly in the top couple in Europe. I think there's only really, well, in the Premier League, you probably could argue De Gea is better. But yeah, Courtois is not in the Premier League anymore. Lloris made that massive mistake in the World Cup final, but in the Premier League, I suppose he's been okay. Quite a few comments there on Traore. So he's quite lazy on the ball. Plus, on the counter attack, he's dangerous. Ederson, I suppose Ederson is a decent goalkeeper, but I don't like the way that he comes out and is a little bit bonkers, really. He was at fault for the goal that they conceded against Leicester, although it didn't really matter. Right, a couple of comments there. Will Raul and Leo ever start together? I don't think so. I don't really like it when Raul gets shoved over onto the right when Bonatini comes on. But Bonatini has been fantastic, I think, in the last two games, Sheffield Wednesday and then West Ham, setting up the goal. And just his general play, he looked dangerous, and he couldn't. The chance that he missed at the time, I thought, oh, it's another, classic Bonatini, should have scored. But sorry, I did get Alisson and Ederson mixed up. Sorry, yes. Bonatini looked really good. I think he just needed that goal on Tuesday to give him that extra confidence. When's Dendoncker going to be fit? Not completely sure. I think he's fit enough to play because he played against Sheffield Wednesday last week, and he looked okay. I think it's just general match sharpness, and I think he'll only get that through the odd few minutes and stuff at the end of some of the games. Perhaps after the international break, and he'll have another couple of weeks working with Nuno now before we play Burnley. And perhaps he'll play then. I think he is generally just waiting on an injury from anywhere else. So let's move on. So FC Jumilia. It's a bit of a strange one there. I don't know anything about them. I think they're in the second or third tier of Spanish football. They're a complete bunch of nobodies, and we've loaned them loads of players. I think about 9 players now that we've given them. Enna Bakari's gone to Kilmarnock out in Scotland. He's living in the Travel Tavern up there. But yeah, it's just a weird one because you would expect if those players and some of the players, some of the players there, like Conor Ronan, tremendous player. Donovan Wilson, we've seen play really well in a couple of games. I can't remember who else has gone out there, but there's a lot of them who've gone, and you would expect them to do really, really well. It is good experience, but I do hope that some of them get the opportunity to come back and to play for Wolves. Yes, I suppose it's similar to City with New York. It's New York City FC, isn't it? And Melbourne, I think. Oh, Conor Ronan plays for Walsall. Now somebody's going to say about how I need to know about football and how I need to keep track on every single Wolves player. Of course, Conor Ronan's gone to Walsall, not to FC Jumilia. Sorry, everybody. I'm the worst. Somebody commented on the video yesterday that I didn't know that Joe Mason had come back from wherever he was in America and has come back to us. But he's been loaned out to Portsmouth now. I know that. So whoever it was who was watching last week who commented on that, there you go. What he was probably even impressed me the most, I think, last week. You know, obviously Traore and Gibbs White played well, and Bontini scored his goal, and Sace looked good. There's all those good things about it, but Watt, as a player I hadn't seen before, didn't really know a lot about. I think I'd seen him playing at the Stoke friendly, I think it was, and yeah, he looked a really tidy player. Looked really, really good. Who will Neves be replaced with in the future? I don't want to think about that. I don't want to consider Ruben Neves not being a Wolves player. I really do think that he is going to stay here though for a long time. I could be wrong, and he could go in at the end of the season, but I genuinely think that he will be a Wolves player. He signed a 5-year contract, and I do think that he will see that out. I genuinely do, because he understands that if he goes to Manchester United or Manchester City, that he's not going to be playing every week. He'll be number 2, number 3, or he'll be on the bench and he'll play one game out of every 6 or 7, or he'll play the League Cup games or the FA Cup games or the odd Champions League game. He wouldn't be the star that he is at Wolves, and he knows that. And I think he'll be advised in the correct way. And I really hope that I'm right. I could see myself being wrong. Sorry, Jacob Gamer, you've asked that question a few times now. Will we see European football before 2022, so in the next 4 years, in some format? Yeah, whether it be like Burnley have had this year, where we just get through a few qualifiers and not quite make it to the Europa League. But I do think that the ambition of the club is to be in the Champions League and to be fighting at the top of the table. So I think that that's the ambition. We want to be in Europe, and I think we'll be there. Should we be excited about the international break? No. No, I'm not. Are you? Right. Somebody just said about me being I can't read that. Do you think we'll sign Johnny permanently? I think it's unlikely, because, well, he's just signed for Atletico Madrid, whereas somebody like Jota that we signed from Atletico Madrid as well, he'd been, I think he'd been there for a long time he'd come up through their youth ranks, and I think he's more likely to come to us. But Johnny's a little bit older. They've spent money on him. I think the release clause is something like 30 million for him. So I hope he's a very, very good player. Very, very good player. And I like him a lot. But I can't see him signing permanently. Signing of the season, Patricio or Moutinho. Well, if you're going pound for pound, you have to say Patricio, don't you? Because he was free. Although he won't be free. He won't be free. But I think, was it the Fancast that said the longer we can keep them out of court, the better. Because, yeah, he's he's going to cost us something. And I think the better he does. But was it Martin Keown as well said that we've signed the better goalkeeper in the Premier League from, I think Kepe was the other one that they said. Is it Kepe, the Chelsea one? They spent 70 million on. You know. Right. Is our squad big enough to compete in the Europe and do well in the Premier League? The big boys are seasoned professionals for Thursday and Sunday matches. Well, we've seen Burnley now struggle this season. We saw Stoke struggle quite a few years ago now when they qualified. And it is difficult. I think we've got a very small squad, really, in comparison to some of those big Champions League teams. But I think we would improve that. We would have a strong squad of 25 players who would be able to compete at in the European level. Has Doherty improved? Yeah, definitely. I think he was probably match. I think up there 4-man of the match on Saturday. I think he could have easily had 2 goals. I think he was quite unlucky with the first one. It was an excellent save from what's his name? Fabianski. Great save. And then the second half, he had that. Was it the volley? I think it was that he just hit straight into the ground, took the pace off the ball, made it a bit easier for Fabianski to save. But he looked better going forward. He looked a bit more secure going at the back, and I was quite happy with him. I don't know about Gelson Martinez or Martins, isn't he? I haven't seen him play that much, to be honest. Zinchenko could be chased again. I would imagine so, or I imagine certainly a fullback. Where'd you get my jacket? This is from the club shop. It was one of the only things left that was in a large. I don't know if anybody's been into the club shop recently, but it is awful for anybody who's not a XXXXL. It's awful. When can Donker come in, considering he's an international player? I don't know what the question is. Well, Den Donker's gone with the Belgian squad. So he's playing for Belgium, but not for Wolves. Burnley and Stoke are not as well equipped as us for Europe yet, I don't believe. Yeah, that's true. Who do you think the top goal scorer is going to be? It's great that the youth team. I'll come back to that youth team point in a minute. Top goal scorer is going to be Jimenez. I know we missed a couple of sitters the other day, but it's definitely going to be. It's definitely going to be Jimenez. He's going to come good for us. And Finners, if he's watching, he's a massive fan. Big up the Mexican massive that supported his channel recently. They love it. They absolutely love it. I think I might start just putting Jimenez in my titles and in my thumbnails just to get that audience up a little bit. Let's have a look. Let's go back. Fans are not loyal to players, so why should they be loyal to clubs? Martins is like a Dharma, but more expensive and definitely have first team football. Deliveries to Molyneux shop coming back end of September apparently. Ain't Adidas brilliant? Not as bad as is it Juma? Is that a name of, or Joma, or whatever it is? They provide the kits for Telford, and they didn't have their home kit ready, so they had to play their first game of the season at home in their away kit. Who think's been our standout player so far? Well, personally, I absolutely love Moutinho. I think he's probably the best player I've ever seen play for Wolves. The way that he can keep the ball and the way that he can use the ball is like nothing I've ever seen. Although Traore as well offers something that we've never seen before in his pace and his power going forward. It's and Patricio as well. There's been so many. I think those have been the three standout players for me. I think both Costa and Traore should be able to dominate Stephen Ward on the right flank, so we could get many balls into the box. Stephen Ward, I think he's a better player than everybody gives him a lot of credit for. Hi Tom, I spoke on here before. Forgot to say that I know Ryan Bennett extremely well and got a ride home with him after the Wolves away game to Fulham. He leaves the ground like it's nothing. Top lad. Well, yeah, as I mentioned in my video, I saw him on Saturday. I should have asked for a photo, but it was literally as we were passing. He was paying for his parking, and I was just able to just tap him on the shoulder and say, "Well done, mate." Yeah, not a chance for a chat. But did I see him at the? No, I didn't see him at the end of season awards, but I did pat him on the shoulder. Yeah, these flags were all given out at games. Here, lots of previous games from promotions in the past to when they knocked down the North Bank, when they got promoted from League One, and then last year's promotion. Remember, we should drop Moutinho for Sace. I know, exactly. I didn't say that. I never said that. I love Moutinho. Loudest fans in the Premier League, anyway. 31,000 is better than 71,000 tourists at Old Trafford, absolutely. And we'll probably outsing them in a couple of weeks' time. Can't wait for that game. I'll be there. Somebody just asked something else. What do we all think about the gamer as well who's joined Wolves? Have you all heard about that? Did you go to that Rotherham game? Do you mean the 6-4 Rotherham game? I was there, yeah. I ran down the steps. If you've ever seen the clip of Alex Ferguson I think it's when they win the league in 92 or 93, he runs down the steps like that. That's how I did it as well. I was very embarrassed. I did look for you on the way, but I was sitting in the West Ham fans, so I couldn't really wear anything Wolves. What's your opinion on the West Ham fans on the ground? West Ham fans I've got no problem with. I think they understand as well the problem that they've got is such a partisan crowd, or was at Upton Park, and they were so loud and so, you could get bits of that. You could, when they sang "I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles" and things like that, you could tell they were an intimidating bunch of fans. But just how far away the pitch is and the massive gaps between the the actual seating and the temporary seating that we were sitting on in the front, it's so bad. But yeah, the first 5 minutes or something was, they were quick and they were fast to the ball. I was thinking, oh, we're in for a game here. I thought we were going to lose, but yeah, we were able to just control the game and quiet the game down, quiet the stadium. So yeah. Considering the Olympic Stadium's got no soul, should we move? Lots of people were saying this on Saturday. It wouldn't be like that, because we would build a ground in the way that we would like the ground to be. So we'd have the stands close to the pitch, one tier South Bank, or one tier stand behind the goal, or whatever it would be. All that sort of stuff would be what we want. Whereas West Ham have just been put in this ground. They were not allowed to knock it down like they wanted to. Or was it Spurs that wanted to, and that's why they lost that in the end? Because it's not fit for purpose. It's not fit for a football ground, and they have to keep it as an athletics stadium, because that is what the legacy of the stadium was. So it's yeah. Ferguson said that moving is the last resort. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Well, a few people I've spoken to who have, I suppose they don't have links at the club, but they know things, and they've said apparently it's a case of when we move, not if we move. But you can definitely tell that there's definitely the demand for more space at Molineux, because selling out for the game at Burnley, that's a a relatively small team. We're filling the ground for that. That's good. Should we dig down like at Old Trafford and be close to the pitch? I think that was an option. I think somebody mention that before, that is possible at Molineux, but I'm not sure it would be able to add that many seats. But there is space there, and there's lots of talk about buying the Asda and things and doing it that way. So I don't know. There's definite options. I would love it to stay at where it is in town for us as home fans, and although it's not a major concern, but away fans as well, for the transport and things like that, and pubs in the town. It's great. Costa, Raul, and Adama as a starting three, dangerous. Opinions on the UEFA Nations League, I don't understand it. I would want a stadium like Derby's one. I wouldn't. They're all completely soulless. All those brand new grounds are soulless, and that's why I want to stay at Molineux. Keep 4 separate stands, but you can add there needs to be a new Steve Bull stand. There needs to be a big South Bank, 10,000 South Bank. Billy Wright can stay as it is, or perhaps add an extra tier to it. It might look a little bit higgledy-piggledy, but I think that's what will give us character. People love talking about the ground, don't they? Like my 2 most viewed videos are about the ground being moved. One that I made back in January, I think, when I first mentioned it, and the second one, which I made just about a month ago, when the news came out that there were plans to possibly move. It was it's had like something like 14,000 views or something. It's mad. Surely an extra 15,000-20,000 seats would make a difference, considering the Premier League money. Stamford Bridge is only 40,000. Steve Bull's stand has been very bad foundations, so would need to be torn down soon. All I've gathered, it's like, they're just, I think, ways to make the friendlies more competitive, I think, is the way that it is. Right, I'm just going to have a couple more minutes on this then before going off. If you could all drop a like, let's see how high we can get that number in the next... how long should we do it? 5 minutes? 5 more minutes. guys, let's see if we can get it up to 40. 40. We won't do Burnley score predictions just yet because there's still another week to go. I think we'll do that. We'll do that next week. How long till Cav returns? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago that it was announced that he was going to have a month off, a month of rest. He went back to Portugal. I think he's back now. We have to judge by his Instagram story, don't you, and stuff like that, where he is. Wolves versus Leicester Carabao Cup thoughts. I think it was not the most exciting draw. You'll have to put the question in again, Jacob Gamer. Sorry, pop it in again, and I'll see if I can get back to you. Do you think we would benefit from a cup run? Definitely, because the team. The team who are in that. The team who are in that fringe of the squad. Right, Dan Wallace, that's it. Yeah, right. I'll do that now. Yeah, the fringe squad. They are, playing the same way, and they're eager to get a place in the Premier League. So yeah. Anyway, was the Ivan move gossip, or was it going to go through? I've no idea. I think they were genuine. There were genuine bids, but I don't think he was ever gonna. Who's gonna ever go? Will he be supporting England or Portugal? Portugal. Right. So the youth, the 3-4-3. So I taught a boy last year who was in the Wolves Academy, and on his first day, I said to him, "Right, come here. Here's a piece of paper. Can you draw the formation for me, please, that you play?" He was 10, 11 at the time, so he's in the under 11s, and he drew. They don't play the full 11 aside. I think it was 9 aside, I think, and it was exactly, you could see at that age the formation, the system. So it was a goalkeeper, obviously, 2 centre backs rather than 3, 2 wide players, 2 in the middle, and then I think 2 up front. I think, is that right? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Yeah, it must have been that. So already at that age, they're putting in Nuno's philosophy, and that's apparently when Nuno came, he sat down to the board and he said, "Right, this is the way that I'm going to play. Like it or lump it. This is going to." No, his name wasn't Connor. No. So yeah, it was. That's the way they're going to play, and that's it. And that's why I think Nuno's going to stay for a long time. There's been links with him going to Man United. He's not going to go there. No way. If you only have to watch his press conference from last week to know that he loves Wolves. He loves the challenge. He loves the project that it's going to be. So yeah, I've got no worries about Nuno going to Manchester United or anything. I think he's great. Scotland, Wales are basically all the England rejects. Okay. Gareth Bale, born, raised in Cardiff, Whitchurch. Best player in the world. Of course, Everton wanted Nuno. And who else wanted Nuno as well? Arsenal apparently approached him after Wenger said he was going to retire. Right. Anyway, a couple more minutes. Let's get that, what's it, up to 40, if we can. Do you think Bonatini will come good this season? I think so. I think he played well in the League Cup game, and then he played well in the following game against West Ham. Yeah. Right, anyway, I'm very, very sorry, but my battery on my phone is very, very low. Sorry for the lack of quality on this this week. I hope you've enjoyed it anyway. Nice to do just a little short one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you again next week for a slightly longer one, and probably a more normal one next week because there'll be the game against Burnley to look forward to. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. If you're watching this later, then subscribe and everything. But I'll see you again next week. Thank you very much. Bye bye.